Chosen one, this moment is not a coincidence. It is a divine interruption and appointment written into your timeline before you ever took your first breath. You did not find this message by chance. It was sent to find you. Heaven has summoned your name, and the Spirit of God is now stirring your soul to respond. This is not a message to entertain or delay. It is a sacred call, and how you respond in this very moment carries eternal weight. God is speaking directly to you, not the crowd, not the casual listener, but you, the one who has endured in silence, remained faithful in obscurity, and carried burdens no one else could see. While others saw your strength, God saw your struggle. While others praised your surface, God stayed with your soul. And now he's saying, enough waiting, enough surviving, it's time to move. But here's what you must understand. Even though this is your moment, it can still be missed. Not because God changed his mind, but because fear, hesitation, or distraction might keep you from stepping into alignment. Some doors open only once. Some windows of favor are not repeated. And this is one of them. If you ignore it, if you delay, if you scroll past, you may forfeit a miracle crafted specifically for you. This is not just a spiritual moment, it's a spiritual crossroads. You are being called into divine alignment, into a position where obedience will unlock a chain reaction of supernatural breakthroughs. Heaven is ready. The angels are already assigned. The provision is prepared. But it requires your yes. Not later, not when it feels safer, now. Type, I believe you, God 77, if you know this was sent from heaven just for you. This is not emotion, it's divine appointment. If your soul knows this is God speaking, don't delay. Let your faith respond. Chosen one, heaven has circled tomorrow on your calendar, not by ink, but by fire. While you've been counting losses, God has been counting down. What's coming is not random, it's written. A miracle has been scheduled in your name, and the time of delivery is near. Not in theory, not in metaphor, in real time. When the sun rises again, something will shift around you, and more importantly, something will shift within you. And God is asking you to be ready, not emotionally, not intellectually, but spiritually, ready to receive what eyes have not seen and ears have not heard. As C.S. Lewis wrote in The Weight of Glory, we are half-hearted creatures, fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us. Like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine what is meant by the offer of a holiday at the sea. This profound insight speaks directly to the moment before you. The miracle God has prepared is not a small, fleeting comfort, but an invitation to infinite joy, divine breakthrough that requires you to release the mud pies of doubt and distraction. Lewis reminds us that your readiness for this miracle hinges on your willingness to embrace the unseen glory God has authored for you, rather than clinging to lesser things. This is not the kind of breakthrough you work for. It's the kind that overtakes you. It's the kind that finds you in the wilderness and says, you don't have to chase anymore. I'm here now. God has already written the outcome. The scroll is sealed. The release has been authorized. What once felt like delay was actually divine orchestration. What you thought was punishment was preparation. The miracle hasn't been late, it's been protected. But understand this. Divine timing still requires human agreement. Heaven is not forcing itself upon you. You must open the gate. You must make space. You must say yes before you see the evidence. Because if you wait for confirmation before surrender, you are not moving by faith, you are moving by sight. And God is not moved by sight. He's moved by belief. Right now, a financial breakthrough is charging toward your life like a river breaking through a dam. It's bigger than you expected, and it's coming faster than you planned. But what you do today determines whether that river flows through you or passes around you. This is not the hour for spiritual laziness or casual responses. This is the hour for bold agreement, for prophetic alignment, for holy courage. Heaven has sent the signal. The miracle is in motion. But your posture will determine if it lands in your hands or remains just out of reach. C.S. Lewis, in Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer, observed, "We may ignore, but we can nowhere evade, the presence of God. The world is crowded with him. He walks everywhere, incognito." This truth underscores the urgency of your response to this divine moment. The miracle charging toward you is not a distant promise, but a present reality, woven into the fabric of your life by God's unseen presence. Lewis's words challenge you to recognize that the financial breakthrough, the shift, the miracle, they are already here, waiting for your faith to meet God's incognito movement. To hesitate is to risk missing the divine activity already at work around you. So listen closely. What you've been waiting for is already written. The future isn't forming, it's unfolding. The door is opening, the river is rushing, and tomorrow has been marked for your deliverance. But only if you say yes today. Chosen one, you need to understand something sacred, something few ever realize. Heaven is not passive about your life. Right now, the realm of glory is not silent. It is active. It is roaring. It is moving because of you. Angels have been dispatched with specific instruction, not to random locations, but to the atmosphere around your home, your finances, your future. There is divine activity happening behind the scenes that you cannot see, but you can feel it. That pressure in your chest, that trembling in your soul, that unshakable sense that something is coming, it's real. It's the spiritual realm shifting on your behalf. There is a war happening in the invisible realm, and you are the reason it started. Every time you prayed in pain, heaven listened. Every time you obeyed without reward, heaven recorded it. Every tear you wept alone was not wasted, was a summons. And that summons reached the throne of God. Now the armies of heaven are in motion, not for general revival, not for vague blessing. For you, you are not a spectator in this battle, you are the reason it exists. Because the enemy saw what you were becoming before you did. He saw the mantle on your life, the calling in your DNA, the prophetic weight on your name. That's why hell tried so hard to confuse you, distract you, drain you. But it didn't work. You're still here. And that alone is proof that heaven has already been intervening. Reflecting on the subtle tactics of spiritual opposition, C.S. Lewis wrote in the Screwtape Letters, "The safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts." This warning illuminates the enemy's strategy against you. The distractions, doubts, and delays you faced were not random, but a calculated attempt to lure you down a gradual path of spiritual defeat. Lewis's insight reinforces that your persistence, your refusal to succumb to the enemy's subtle erosion, has positioned you for this moment of divine intervention. The armies of heaven are moving because you rejected the gentle slope and chose the path of faith. Now, the shift intensifies, because the prayers you thought God ignored were actually collecting interest. The obedience you gave in silence was being multiplied, and the very moment you're in right now has been paid for in spiritual warfare you didn't even realize was happening. You have more angels around you right now than enemies ahead of you. And every force that tried to stop you is trembling not because of your strength, but because of the divine backing you carry. So take heart. You are not walking alone. You are walking with an entourage of heaven's finest. God has declared, "Touch not my anointed," and that declaration still stands. You are covered. You are surrounded. You are carried. And the reason things have felt intense lately is because the breakthrough isn't coming, it's arriving. Chosen one, you didn't just survive, you paid a price. And you paid it quietly. While others flaunted false victories and praised empty success, you were fighting battles no one saw. You wrestled with doubt in the dark, smiled through sorrow, and carried burdens so heavy your spirit bent under the weight, but never broke. You stayed faithful when it felt like nothing was changing. You gave when you had almost nothing left, and you believed, even when believing felt like bleeding. God saw it all. Every moment you held your tongue instead of defending yourself, every time you forgave in secret, every time you cried over unpaid bills, unopened doors, and unfulfilled dreams. Heaven took record of it not to pity you, but to honor you. While others chased platforms, you built altars. While others performed, you persevered. And while others rushed ahead, you remained in the fire being refined, not rejected. You were never forgotten. You were being formed. Every delay was part of the shaping. Every disappointment was chiseling your character. Every detour was protecting the blueprint. You weren't being denied, you were being deepened. And now, that depth is about to speak. The hidden parts of you that no one clapped for are the very places God is about to pour His glory into. Not because you earned it with perfection, but because you honored Him in the valley. Heaven is now responding to what you did in silence. The reward is not just coming, it's echoing. It will come back to you pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Not just in money, but in peace. Not just in success, but in wholeness. Not just in breakthrough, but in legacy. The people who overlooked you will witness you being raised not in arrogance, but in anointing. So don't look back with regret. Nothing was wasted. You didn't miss your moment. Your moment has been waiting for you. And now, it's your time. Chosen one, the gate is open. The air around you has shifted. There is a divine invitation hovering in your atmosphere, waiting for your spirit to respond. This is not just a symbolic opening, this is a real and sacred threshold. Heaven has released access. Favor is leaning in. The scroll with your name on it has already been unsealed. But access alone is not enough. The gate may be open, but you still must walk through. God has done His part. And now, He's waiting on your yes not, the quiet, cautious kind of yes, but the bold, prophetic kind that steps into rooms before it sees proof. This is not about waiting for peace to arrive so you can feel safe. It's about stepping forward because you trust the voice that called you. There are moments in life where everything hinges on a single act of obedience. This is one of them. You may feel unqualified, unprepared, or unsure, but heaven is not looking for the perfect. Heaven is looking for the willing. God doesn't bless who you pretend to be. He blesses who you are when you say, "Yes, 7," with trembling hands. What's unfolding now doesn't require more effort. It requires more surrender. You're not being asked to figure it all out. You're being asked to believe that what has already been written is more real than what you currently see. The miracle is not waiting to be created. It's waiting to be received. In Mere Christianity, C.S. Lewis wrote, "It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg." This metaphor captures the essence of your current threshold. The gate before you demands transformation, a breaking of the old shell of fear, doubt, and hesitation. Lewis's words remind you that you cannot step through this divine opening while clinging to the comfort of your past self. To receive the miracle, you must surrender to the process of becoming, trusting that God's blueprint for your life is ready to unfold as you say yes. But understand this truth deeply. Spiritual gates do not remain open forever. Every divine opening has a window, and this one has been marked with urgency. If you delay, if you second guess, if you wait for absolute certainty before responding, you may miss what was tailored just for you. What's being released is not general, it's personal. Your name is on the envelope, your destiny is the destination, and what God wants to do through you next cannot be carried by someone else. You were chosen for this path, this moment, this outpouring, but the oil can't fall on a closed heart. The flood can't rush through a closed gate. You must open your spirit and step forward not with logic, but with faith. This is not about striving. This is not about earning. This is about alignment. The moment your spirit says yesterly, fully, boldly, heaven begins to move through the corridor of your life like wind through an open field. Doors begin to unlock. Favor begins to chase you. Resources begin to find you. Not because you worked harder, but because you finally agreed with what God already authored. You are not behind. You are not too late. But you must choose to walk post-translational now. This is the moment where fear must bow, where shame must stay behind, where doubt must be silenced by destiny. You are standing before the gate of heaven and it is wide open. But it is your choice to cross the threshold. So rise in your spirit. Shake the dust of delay from your feet. Take one more deep breath of faith and step in. Because what's waiting on the other side is not just blessing. It's fullness. It's fire. It's favor. It's fulfillment. And it has been waiting on you all along. Chosen one. What God is preparing to release into your life is not a partial repair, it is full restoration. This is not about returning to how things used to be. It is about stepping into what things were always meant to become. God is not giving you back the pieces of your past. He's giving you a future so whole, so radiant, that even your deepest wounds will stand in awe. The areas of your life that were left broken, the dreams that were shelved, the relationships that collapsed, the confidence that quietly eroded, none of it will remain untouched. Heaven is not offering bandages. Heaven is offering resurrection. God saw the cost you paid just to keep breathing through the disappointment. He watched you hold on to hope even when your hands were shaking, and now He's responding with a harvest you won't be able to contain. This is not just financial increase. It's not just physical healing. It's not just a breakthrough in one area of your life. It's total alignment. Mind, body, soul coming into divine rhythm with His purpose for you. Restoration is arriving in waves, and each wave is going to touch a different area that pain once claimed. The restoration of your joy, the restoration of your identity, the restoration of your energy, the restoration of your voice. You need to understand that God never forgets a sacrifice made in silence. He remembers the night you gave when you barely had anything left. He remembers the moment you forgave when it broke your heart to do so. He remembers when you showed up even after being betrayed. And He's saying, I will not let your pain go unanswered. The seeds you sowed in agony are about to bloom in glory. The places where you were most humiliated will be the very places where you are most elevated. Those who saw you fall will watch you risen not as a spectacle, but as a sign that God still honors the faithful. But this restoration is not just about you, it's going to flow through you. God is healing you so that you can become a well for others. He is restoring you not just to survive, but to pour. What once drained you will now empower you. The wisdom born from your suffering will become the oil you carry. Your scars will become testimonies. And you won't have to explain yourself, your fruit will speak louder than any defense. The people who doubted you will be silenced, not by your revenge, but by your radiance. Chosen one, this restoration is holy. It is not coming with noise and chaos. It is coming with peace. It is coming with clarity. It is coming with a quiet power that does not announce itself but cannot be denied. It will find you in moments of stillness. It will wrap around you in unexpected ways. It will fill rooms before you enter them and follow you when you leave. Because God is not simply repairing you, He is rebuilding you with heavenly precision. So prepare your hands, prepare your heart, prepare your home. Restoration is not coming someday, it's already moving in your direction. And when it arrives, it will not ask permission. It will simply flood everything that was once barren and call it blessed. Chosen one, whether you realize it or not, a spiritual shift has already begun within you. Something invisible but undeniable has changed. You don't think the same. You don't desire the same. The weight of your old season no longer sits right on your shoulders. That's not confusion, it's realignment. God has begun to pull your spirit out of survival mode and into divine synchronization. The fatigue you've been feeling isn't failure, it's the heaviness of transition. You're not breaking down, you're breaking through. This shift is not a surface-level moment. It is tectonic. Something in the spiritual realm has moved beneath your feet. You are no longer where you used to be, even if your circumstances haven't caught up yet. There is a seal being placed over your life, a declaration from heaven that says, "This one is mine, This one is marked. This one carries the weight of purpose. You don't need a public ceremony. Heaven has already crowned you in secret. The anointing is not waiting for confirmation. It's already resting on you like oil that can't be wiped away. And with this shift comes a different kind of clarity. You're not just seeing with your eyes anymore. You're discerning with your spirit. What once drew you in now repels you. What once distracted you now looks empty. This is the fruit of maturity. God has sharpened your senses not for self-preservation, but for kingdom preparation. You are being equipped to move differently, to walk with precision, to speak with weight. No more wasted words, no more misaligned connections. What comes out of your mouth now carries heaven's backing. But with elevation comes exposure. The enemy knows you've shifted. That's why old voices have tried to re-enter. That's why past wounds have suddenly resurfaced. It's not regression, it's warfare. When you are close to crossing over, the adversary tries to pull you back into familiar patterns. But hear this, you are not the same person who once bowed to fear. You are not the same soul who once broke under pressure. You have been refined in fire and sealed with glory. This time, you will not fold. This time, you will not back down. This time, you will walk forward in fire and not be burned. And as you walk, doors will recognize you. Rooms will respond to you, not because of charisma, but because of covenant. The spiritual shift happening in you is being noticed in realms you haven't even entered yet. Angels are going before you. Favor is being stirred for your name in places your feet haven't touched. The right people will be drawn to you. The wrong ones will fall away without explanation. Let them go. You don't need to fight for your future. It's already fighting for you. So rest in the shift. Trust the seal. Move like someone who's been marked by heaven. Because that's exactly who you are. Chosen one, the chains are breaking. Not slowly, not symbolically, but suddenly and completely. The things that once held you, the habits, the cycles, the soul ties, the unspoken shame, they are crumbling under the weight of heaven's decree. This is your exodus moment. You are not being managed anymore. You are being delivered. God is not interested in helping you cope with bondage. He is breaking it off entirely. And when he breaks something, it doesn't return in pieces. It disappears in the fire. You've lived too long bound by things that no longer belong in the narrative God is writing through you. You've been tethered to old conversations, haunted by past labels, and shackled by silent accusations that never came from God's mouth. The enemy tried to convince you that those chains were your identity. That struggle was your story. That guilt was your portion. But heaven has issued a new verdict, and that verdict is freedom. Not just the freedom to leave, but the freedom to rise. This freedom touches every layer of who you are. It liberates your thoughts, the ones that used to spiral in fear or settle into self-doubt. It clears the fog in your emotions, the heaviness you couldn't explain, the anxiety that clung like a second skin. It untangles your desires, the part of you that stayed loyal to pain because pain felt predictable. God is severing the ties to everything you outgrew, everything that betrayed your worth, everything that poisoned your confidence. You are not being set free to wander, you are being released to ascend. And as the chains fall, so do the lies. The lie that you're too broken to be used, the lie that you missed your moment, the lie that your past disqualifies your calling. None of it holds weight anymore. God is rewriting the internal narrative. You are no longer the abandoned. You are the anointed. You are no longer the rejected. You are the restored. The shame that has whispered in your ear for years is being silenced by the roar of God's love. That inner voice that said, "You'll never be enough," is being overruled by the thunderous truth. You were always chosen. But don't be surprised when the familiar places feel uncomfortable. Don't be alarmed when the people who once tolerated your chains can no longer stand your freedom. Some relationships were only built to survive your brokenness, not to witness your healing. And that's okay. You're not going backward. You're not making them smaller. You're just no longer shrinking to fit their expectations. This new liberty demands new boundaries, new clarity, new reverence for what God is doing in you. So walk out of the old prisons and don't look back. You're not who you were before the fire. You're not returning to the versions of yourself that begged for permission to breathe. You've been delivered, you've been cleansed, you've been called forward, and the gate behind you has already closed. Let this be your declaration. I am no longer bound. Say it until the atmosphere shifts. Say it until your body believes it. Say it until your destiny echoes it. Because it is true. And because freedom, for you, is no longer optional, it is commanded. Chosen one, you have come too far to look back now. You have cried too many nights, walked through too many valleys, and overcome too many storms to return to what God already delivered you from. Looking back is not nostalgia, it's a threat. It is not innocent. It is a doorway the enemy loves to reopen, using your memory as a weapon against your future. And heaven is sounding the alarm. Do not look back. The temptation to glance over your shoulder will feel subtle, at first a familiar voice, an old emotion, a moment of weakness where you start to wonder if what you left behind was really as toxic as it seemed. But be warned, the enemy always dresses Egypt in gold when you're approaching your promised land. He will try to make you crave what once enslaved you, but you must remember, it wasn't comfort, it was captivity. It wasn't love, it was manipulation. It wasn't God's plan. It was your survival mode. You're not just leaving behind circumstances, you're leaving behind mindsets. The mindset that settled, the mindset that begged for crumbs, the mindset that believed you had to perform for worthiness. That season is over. You're not going back to being silenced to keep the peace. You're not going back to carrying weight that wasn't yours. You're not going back to relationships that required you to shrink so others could feel tall. The price was too high, and the freedom is too holy. This moment requires fierce focus. The future you are walking into demands your full attention. You cannot drag old idols into new altars. You cannot wear yesterday's armor in today's war. And you cannot inherit the fullness of God's promise if your heart is still divided between what was and what could be. Looking back will cost you clarity. It will steal your peace. It will interrupt your breakthrough. That's why Lot's wife didn't just disobey, she disintegrated. Because the moment she turned around, she disconnected from the momentum of grace. And that's what the enemy wants for you to freeze in transition, paralyzed by what you were never meant to carry forward. So guard your eyes, guard your heart, guard your mind, because every time you look back, you question God's faithfulness, and He's asking you now, do you trust me enough to keep walking? Even when the road feels unfamiliar, even when the losses feel fresh, even when closure never came, keep walking. What I have ahead is greater than what you left behind. Let this be the moment you sever the emotional leash to your past. Let this be the hour you put to rest every version of yourself that only knew survival. Let this be the final breath of old identity, old patterns, and old agreements. You have been released, and your future does not speak the same language as your chains. Don't look back, don't second guess. Don't forfeit your promised land for the illusion of safety. What's ahead of you carries the glory of everything you prayed for, and you're almost there. Chosen one, this is it. This is where the story shifts. This is where what once felt unfinished begins to bloom with holy closure. You are not stepping into a better version of your past. You are stepping into a brand new beginning, authored by the very hand of God. What lies ahead is not recycled. It is divine. It is drenched in purpose and saturated in glory. And it carries the full weight of everything God promised you in the silence. The wait was long, but the reward will be loud. God is not giving you fragments. He is giving you fullness. You will not have to piece together scraps of healing or guess whether the blessing is yours. This next move will be undeniable. What you touch will prosper. Where you walk, peace will follow. When you speak, something will shift in the atmosphere because God is placing a mantle on your life that is heavier than your history and brighter than your former season. The crown he is putting on your head is not for decoration, it is for dominion. You will begin to see with new eyes. What once confused, you will now feel clear. The heaviness you carried as a burden will now be carried as oil. The very wounds that once made you question your purpose will become the very proof that God was with you all along. And when people ask, "How did you survive that?" you won't give them strategies. You will give them worship. Because what's coming next will have only one explanation. The Lord has done this for me. Don't be surprised when things begin to accelerate. Don't be shocked when rooms open without your resume, when people honor you without knowing your full story, when prayers you forgot you prayed begin to manifest around you like rain. It's not magic, it's covenant. You kept walking when you had no map. You kept sowing when you had no harvest. You kept trusting when you had no guarantee. And now the heavens are responding not with small things, but with overflow. You will eat from vineyards you didn't plant. You will live in peace you didn't negotiate. You will experience joy that doesn't ask for permission. Because this is not the reward of your hustle. This is the release of your obedience. God is fulfilling what he started, and he is doing it in such a way that no one, not even you, can take credit for it. So lift your head, chosen one. The ashes are behind you, the oil is upon you, the scroll has been read in heaven, and the angels have already been released. You are about to walk in answered prayers, fulfilled prophecy, restored time, and undeniable favor. And as you enter this next season, know this: you are not just walking into a blessing. You are walking into a divine appointment written by the King of Glory himself. This is the turning point. This is the shift. This is the hour. And you were born for this. Prophetic prayer of alignment and release. Father, I come before you today not as someone flawless, but as someone chosen, called by grace, drawn by your Spirit, and awakened to a moment that I now recognize as holy. I bring you the entirety of who I am, my faith and my fear, my courage and my wounds, my hope and my history. I no longer want to live half awake, half free, or half committed. So I say yes, not just with my lips, but with my life. I say yes to the doors you are opening, to the healing you are sending, to the restoration you have already written with my name engraved upon it. I say yes, even when I still feel uncertain, even when the cost is high, even when I cannot yet see the full picture. I trust you, Lord, and I trust what you've written for me. So right now, in the presence of heaven, I renounce every voice that has ever whispered I'm not enough. I cancel every lie that told me I was too broken, too late, too flawed to be used by you. I sever every tie to fear, every hidden contract with shame, every quiet agreement I made with disappointment. I give you permission to dismantle the strongholds I got used to living with. God, take every limitation I've placed on myself and remove it. I hand over the story I tried to write alone, and I now step fully into the one you authored before I ever took a breath. Let this be the moment of exchange me will for yours, my past for your promise, my burden for your glory. Breathe now over every dry place in me. Let dead things hear your voice and live again. Let dreams I buried in fear rise from the ashes. Touch the deepest wounds, the ones I thought were too hidden, too hardened, too far gone, and call them healed. I'm not asking for temporary relief. I'm asking for holy redefinition. I don't want to just recover. I want to be reborn in purpose. Break the survival mindset. Tear down the walls I built for protection that now keep out my future. Let your presence go before me, beside me, and behind me. Let every step I take from this moment forward be soaked in your anointing, ordered by your hand, and surrounded by angels you've assigned to this divine transition. I declare now that I will no longer look back. I will not revisit the graves you've already called me out of. I won't rehearse the betrayal, the lack, or the delay. What you have placed before me is sacred, and I choose to honor it with my obedience. I receive the mantle you've set on my shoulders, the oil you've poured over my life, the scroll you've unsealed with my name written in purpose. I don't ask for fame, I ask for fruit. I don't need recognition, I ask for revelation. Make me a vessel that carries what cannot be explained by man, but only by the presence of God. Let this be the hour when heaven touches my timeline. Let this be the moment the narrative changes, not because I forced it, but because I surrendered to it. I trust that what you start, you finish. I believe that what you break, you restore. And I choose now to walk in alignment with who you say I am, not forgotten, not behind, not disqualified, but chosen, equipped, anointed, and ready. So here I am, Lord, not striving, not pretending, just surrendered. Mark this day in the Spirit. Let no voice of hell undo what you've sealed. Let no fear delay what you've declared. Let no doubt silence what you've spoken. What you've begun in me, bring it to glorious fulfillment, and I will give you all the praise, all the glory, and all the honor, forever and ever. In Jesus' mighty and sovereign name, amen.